The bank's fluorescent hum was a cold pulse, and Nia's heart pounded louder than the chatter of the morning crowd. At 16, she stood at the counter, clutching a crumpled stack of cashier's summer job earnings only to face a sneer that cut deeper than words. The teller, a man with a pinched face and a name tag reading Greg, didn't bother hiding his contempt. "This cash looks dirty," he said, loud enough for the line behind Nia to shift uncomfortably. "We don't take just anything here. You sure this is legit?" His words weren't just a question. They were a blade slicing through her dignity. Nia's fingers tightened around the bills, her voice steady despite the heat rising in her chest. "It's my money. I earned it." Greg scoffed, tossing the cash back across the counter like it was trash. "Earned it where? Looks like street money to me." The room seemed to shrink, eyes boring into Nia from every direction. A white woman in line muttered something under her breath, and a man coughed awkwardly. Nia's throat tightened, but she wouldn't cry not here, not in front of him. She was used to this, the subtle and not-so-subtle jabs, the way her skin seemed to invite judgment. But today it stung worse. This was her money, her pride, her proof she was more than their assumptions. Behind Greg, the bank's polished logo gleamed, mocking her with its promise of fairness. Nia straightened, her voice sharp now. "Check again. It's real." Greg's smirk widened, and he leaned closer, his voice dripping with condescension. "Kid, don't make a scene. You're holding up the line. Maybe this isn't the place for you." The words landed like a slap, and Nia's breath caught. She wanted to scream, to demand respect, but the weight of every stare held her still. Then the glass doors swung open, and the air shifted. A woman stepped in, her heels clicking with purpose against the marble floor. She was tall, her tailored suit impeccable, her presence commanding the room like a storm rolling in. Nia's mother, Dr. Elaine Carter, CEO of a tech firm that could buy this bank twice over. Her eyes, sharp as cut glass, locked onto Greg, who hadn't noticed her yet. The crowd parted instinctively, sensing authority. Elaine's gaze flicked to Nia, then to the scattered cash, and finally to Greg's smug face. "What did you just say to my daughter?" Her voice was low, controlled, but it carried a weight that silenced the room. Greg froze, his smirk faltering. "Ma'am, Tu was just explaining our policy on suspicious funds," he stammered, his bravado crumbling. Elaine stepped closer, her presence towering despite her calm. "Suspicious? Based on what?" Her skin, the accusation hung heavy, and Greg's face reddened. The bystanders shifted, some looking away, others leaning in, captivated by the unraveling drama. Nia's heart swelled seeing her mother command boardrooms, but this was different. This was personal. "Do you know who I am?" Elaine asked, her tone icy. Greg shook his head, clearly wishing he could disappear. "I'm Dr. Elaine Carter, and this bank is one of my firm's clients. But more importantly, that's my daughter you're humiliating." She gestured to Nia, who stood taller now, her eyes blazing with a mix of pride and relief. Greg's mouth opened, but no words came. Elaine didn't wait. "You assumed her money was dirty because of how she looks. You didn't check it, didn't ask questions, you judged her. That's not policy. That's prejudice." Her words were a scalpel, precise and unyielding. The manager, alerted by the tension, hurried over, his face pale. "Dr. Carter, I'm so sorry." "Save it." Elaine cut him off. "I want a full review of this incident, and I want it now. My daughter deserves better. Everyone in this room does." She turned to Nia, her expression softening. "Let's go, sweetheart. We're done here." Nia grabbed her cash, her hand steady now, and followed her mother out. The crowd parted again, some whispering, others nodding in quiet respect. Outside, the sun hit Nia's face, and she exhaled a breath she hadn't realized she'd been holding. "I'm sorry you had to see that, Mom," she said quietly. Elaine stopped, turned to face her. "Don't you ever apologize for their ignorance. You hold your head high, Nia. You're worth more than their small minds can fathom." Nia nodded, tears prickling but not falling. She'd faced this before, and she'd face it again. But today, she wasn't alone. Back inside, Greg stood frozen, the weight of his actions sinking in as the manager barked orders. The wooden clipboard on the counter, unnoticed by most, bore a handwritten note in bold: "Racial clash shocks bank." It was a small marker of a moment that would ripple through the bank, through Nia's heart, and through every bystander who'd witnessed the cost of prejudice and the power of standing up. The incident wasn't just a clash. It was a mirror, forcing everyone in that room to confront their own biases. For Nia, it was a lesson in resilience, a reminder that her worth wasn't defined by someone else's ignorance. For Elaine, it was a call to protect not just her daughter, but every kid like her, caught in the crosshairs of a world too quick to judge. And for the bank, it was a reckoning one that would demand change, or lose more than just a client. Thank you for listening. If you find it interesting, please like and subscribe to follow the next stories.